Senator John McCain has proposed a new defense budget, and of course that budget has a very, very expensive price tag attached to it, to the tune of $640 to $700 billion. Now, the $640 billion base defense budget for the next fiscal year will include $54 billion above what had been projected by the Obama administration. Now, Senator John McCain, of course, is known for being hawkish and wanting to fund the Defense Department as much as possible. And here's some of his fear-mongering statements regarding what he believes about the Defense Department. He says the damage that has been done to our military over the past 8 years will not be reversed in 1 year. Just stemming the bleeding caused by recent budget cuts will take most of the next 5 years, to say nothing of the sustained increases in funding required thereafter. So this would pay for more troops for the Army and Marine Corps, and also more ships for the Navy and more planes for the Air Force. Now, the reason why I say that his statement is fear-mongering is because it's what you hear over and over again from the right wing regarding cuts to funding for our Defense Department. The cuts are actually very minimal, and Republicans are partly responsible for it. So first of all, yes, there was about overall, I believe, a 15% cut for the Defense Department between 2010 and 2011. And one of the reasons why is because Obama brought troops back home from Iraq. So we didn't need as much money for that component of our military. But there was also the issue of sequestration, right? And so the Obama administration wanted Congress to stop being obstructionists. He wanted them to work together so they can actually pass legislation. And so since Republicans refused to work with Democrats, he's like, all right, well, if you guys are unable to come up with a deal, this is in 2011, then as a result, I'm going to cut funding across the board for everything, including our military. And that's exactly what happened. Republicans are the ones who kind of refused to play ball, and that led to the budget cuts.
Yeah, Obama didn't want to do sequestration. The Democrats didn't want to do it because it was across-the-board cuts. And so they thought that's not the right way to go. But they said, well, at least it also cuts defense, so it'll probably motivate Republicans to make a reasonable budget. Nothing motivates Republicans to do anything reasonable. So it turns out sequestration just went into effect.
Yes.
So they did across-the-board cuts. But since then, the Republicans have been furiously trying to get money back into the defense contractors' pockets because they donate to the Republican Party.
Bingo. So that's what this is really about. It's not about making sure that there are more services or better pay for members of our military. It's not about any of that. It's about private contractors. So a lot of the focus in what McCain is saying has to do with we need more jets, and we need more this, and we need more, whatever, like the tanks submarines and things like that.
So let me give more details on that, because it's such a great sense of their hypocrisy. So when he gives a statement about why he wants the money, he talks about how we were forced to send young Americans into battle without sufficient training or equipment. Now, wait a minute. If you're talking about adding more troops, well, I could certainly see how that would be useful. I might not agree, but I get it, right? That's a defensible thing to say. And if you say, hey, I want to make sure they've got the right protection, including, for example, that we went into Iraq with Humvees that blew up if there was an IED went off underneath them and they didn't have protection underneath. And we had to refit all the Humvees. Well, there I'm 1,000% with you. Let's make sure that they get all the protection that they need. But now let me read you a list of the things that they're actually going to buy, which have nothing to do with the troops or their protection. They are going to add at least 59 ships to the Navy that include 5 fast attack submarines, 5 fleet oilers, 3 destroyers, 2 amphibious ships, 2 undersea surveillance ships, and 1 aircraft carrier. The Marines are also going to buy 20 F-35 fighters, but it's not just the Marines. The Air Force will also buy 73 more F-35 fighters. Okay. Now, remember when ISIS attacked our submarines? Oh, right, neither do I, because that's not a thing that happens. So in the old days when we were fighting World War II and the Germans had the U-boats, yeah, we needed a lot of submarines. These days, we never use the submarines. Now, it's not to say we shouldn't have any, and I get that some of them have nukes on them in case of emergency, but do we really need, and sometimes we'll do a missile off a sub, but that's very rare, right? But do we really need 5 fast attack submarines and all of the other things that I listed as part of making sure our troops are safe? It has nothing to do with troop safety. It has to do with defense contractors. You gave me money for my campaign, and you're later going to hire me and all the other generals that work at the Pentagon. Here, let me give, since you guys are going to give us millions of dollars, we're going to give you trillions of dollars.
So those defense contractors who give senators like John McCain money for their campaigns, they have such a negative impact on American policy, not only because we spend so much of our taxpayer money in funding these private contractors, but it also pushes people like Senator John McCain to advocate for more war, right? And so,
That's right.
So why is
Gets people killed.
Exactly. Why is he so hawkish? Like, who would want to continue going to war, especially after we've experienced so many negative ramifications from invading countries preemptively in the Middle East?
So you know those NASCAR drivers with all the different logos on their jackets? Mm-hmm. So the different senators and congressmen do have niches, right? So some will take money from certain ethnic groups. Like, I remember back in the day, there was a guy who took more money from Turks, and then there's a guy who took more money from Armenians, and then they would battle depending on who was bribing them more, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's Friends of India, then there's Friends of China. I mean, it goes on. And that's a small sliver of it. The big boys are pharmaceutical companies who bought off people like Cory Booker, and then Cory Booker goes, me, golly gee, no. And he's a Democrat. For John McCain, the giant logo on his chest would be, you know, Raytheon, Boeing, Lockheed Martin.
Yep.
He works for those guys. Now, maybe he doesn't realize it. Maybe he lies to himself to be able to sleep at night. No, I just want a strong defense. John, when's the last time we got invaded? What are we using the amphibious ships for? I mean, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And did it make us safer to go into Iraq?
No, it didn't. It did not make our military stronger.
No one can say that going into Iraq made us safer. It created ISIS, let alone 1,000 other things, let alone all those thousands of poor American kids who died in Iraq for nothing.
Yes.
And it made the world more dangerous. And even your own president now, Trump, admits it. And forget Trump, your voters, the Republican voters say, no, it made us less safe. So do the Democratic voters. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. But it's not about being wrong or right. It's about, hey, where do I get the check, right? So the defense contractor contingent is Lindsey Graham, John McCain. Mm-hmm. It used to be Kelly Ayotte in New Hampshire. Luckily, she lost because people in America hate war, right? Like, they think Americans love war. Yeah, I know. They get tricked into it every once in a while because you have corporate media behind you and a giant propaganda machine, right? And sometimes the defense contractors literally own the media, as GE used to do with NBC. But Ayotte got thrown out on our ass. The third part of that contingent used to be Joe Lieberman. Mm-hmm. He got thrown out on his ass. And soon one day, McCain and Lindsey Graham will also get thrown out on their ass because we're tired of having our kids die so you guys can get rich.
Look, the final thing I want to add to this is when Bernie Sanders was campaigning and argued that we should offer free public college education for every single American who wants to get a college degree, the big question was, or the big issue was, oh, how are we going to pay for that? But it's so expensive. How do we pay for that? When are we going to get to a point when we're going to have politicians who want to use taxpayer money to benefit the American taxpayer? Because this doesn't benefit the American taxpayer. This benefits private industries. We should have certain programs in place that create better opportunities for us. And unfortunately, that's not the case with establishment politicians like Senator McCain.
So I've got to add one more piece of context to that great point that Anna just made. So the program that she's alluding to costs $75 billion a year. Now, if we did that, all of your kids would have the opportunity to get as rich as these guys. They'd at least have a fair chance. We're not saying that they should be handed money. We're saying they should be handed an opportunity. That's the whole point of the American dream, equality of opportunity. $75 billion a year, they said, is undoable, outrageous. It's totally unrealistic. This budget for defense is $640 billion. It's going to go up to $700 billion when you add in the overseas contingency operations, which I'll get back to in a second. By 2020, it's going to be $800 billion. That is more than 10 times what it would cost to educate every kid in America with a college education. But they say that's not doable. Now, let me come back to that. What the hell is an overseas contingency operation? It's $60 billion for a war fund that is basically unaccountable. That's the one where that's your slush fund for creating more wars. So you don't buy any ships with it. You don't get any troops. You don't get to equip anything. That is a project for a war fund account that does not have anything that's accountable to the American people. $60 billion. You know what they do with that fund? They largely use it to create more wars. Not to fight the wars,
That's right.
but they'd use it for propaganda, et cetera, to create more wars. So $75 billion for your kids to live the American dream, unrealistic, can't do it. A $60 billion slush fund to create more wars so these guys can get richer, no problem. That's very realistic. We'll do that right away. That's how corrupt and gross our government has become. We are the watchers on the wall. We are the sword in the darkness. Come join us. tytnetwork.com/join.